Hi, English students. So today what I'd like to go over is an important part of thinking about your rhetorical situation, which is the circumstances under which you're communicating. Today we're going to look at the rhetorical triangle, which is a visual representation of how you are interacting with your audience and crafting your message. So the textbook talks about how when you are communicating, you can think about that communicating as existing within a triangle. So at the top here, we have logos. The text says that you can think about this as your message. We also have pathos. And if you are thinking about that within the realm of communication, you can think of that as your audience. And then you also have your ethos, which is your voice. So you may have heard these terms before: ethos, pathos, logos. They are ways that you can appeal to your audience as well. But they work interdependently when you are communicating. So to effectively communicate, you want to consider yourself and your message and how you can best appeal to your audience. Within this triangle, these different appeals work together. So your message and your audience, they work together with regard to how the audience receives the communication. So reception, the textbook talks about how there's attitude can be reflected in the ethos and can speak to the logos of the situation. When you're creating your message, you can also think about your tone. So tone when you're writing refers to your attitude toward your topic, attitude toward the audience. Your tone is the connection between the voice and the audience. So you want to connect with your audience? Think about how you're saying it. Think about your word choice. How is the way that you craft your tone and create your credibility as a speaker, how is it going to persuade your audience? Attitude also just talks about how the relationship between the voice and message. So tone is what the audience sees. Sometimes thinking about the relationship between your voice and your ethos and your logos. Sometimes you might want to use different appeals to get that message across, to seem as calm and as even-mannered as you can. So let's go ahead. This is all kind of abstract, right? Even though I'm drawing a triangle up on the board, let's actually just think about a rhetorical situation here and analyze it using this triangle. So say for me to prepare to make this video. This I should consider first my rhetorical situation when I am creating a video like this. So I have to think about my voice, and I have to think about how I am best going to communicate my message, which is that rhetoric is important to my audience, which is students, right? So if we were to break this down and think about it with regard to me communicating with you, what's my rhetorical situation? Logos up here. And so my message is rhetoric, right, is important. It's super important to consider when you're communicating. Rhetoric is persuasive speech. You students are my audience, right? So I have to think about how am I best going to persuade you of my ideas. Ethos relates to voice, which is me, or teacher. And so if we were to think about how these things are working together, what's my attitude as I am communicating this? And what is a good way for me to communicate the importance of this topic? And so the way that I craft my voice when I teach is to convey to students that, I love my job. I love my job. And also, I think that my attitude also is that communication is important. And so my hope is that through communicating these different ideas to you, you'll be able to understand the importance of communicating effectively. So we have ethos, pathos. What is the relationship between these two? And so what is my tone? How am I going to convey my message in a way that you will receive it? So my tone, I'm trying to be formal to a certain extent, while also I want to communicate this message in a way that you can understand. So I try to be conversational to an extent. But other aspects of my voice that I think about before I create a video like this also is that I want to be accessible to you. I want you to understand what I'm saying, and I want for you to understand it in a way that you'll remember this later on after you take this class. Because that's why you take these college writing classes, is to help you better communicate in your upper level courses as well. So this is a really important class. And how are you going to receive this? Well, my hope is that you will receive this information positively. And I hope that you will understand that rhetoric is fun and interesting, my hope, and valuable. A well-crafted message that is received and remembered by your audience. It's really super important. So ways that you can think about this also as you are pondering your rhetorical situation. How can you best communicate your message? So I just have some tips. So one thing you want to do is definitely consider your audience. Ponder, who are they? What are their values? What are their wants and needs? So assess their wants and needs. And potentially believe, well, I think I've gone off the board. So audience, assess, and then I'll put my last point right here where you can see it. Carefully craft your message. Craft your message as you think about these different elements of your rhetorical situation. And then if you do that, you can create persuasive speech that your academic audience will potentially consider. Hopefully this video will also help you to understand that what we want you to learn and take away from this class are some good communication skills that will help you and guide you as you write research papers, papers for class, even emails to teachers. All of these different things are communication. Okay, so thanks and enjoy the rest of the chapter.